Good morning, everybody. It's Miss Kathy. Do I look a little different? I got my ears on because we were talking about ears the last couple weeks. And now I wanted to talk about our eyes. So I thought maybe this would be a funny way to start. But you know what? I can't see anything or hear anything. So I'm going to take my ears off. I'm going to take these glasses off and oh, here they are. Find my glasses. And now I can see you. And now I can see the camera. It was so hard to find the button when I couldn't see. It's like, where is it? So I can't wait to tell you about what I've learned about eyes. When I was a teenager, I looked at teenage magazines that had all the fashion, all the beautiful models and all the celebrities in it and stuff. And you know what? It made me feel bad about myself because I have brown eyes. Back then, I did not like my brown eyes because everybody in the magazines, all the beautiful ones I saw were beautiful, had blue and green eyes. They were so pretty. And I didn't want my brown eyes anymore. It was terrible because it made me feel bad about myself. And that's crazy. So what? That's what some people think is pretty or beautiful. I had a good heart inside. And that's what God designed us. Remember, we're made in God's image. But that's not what we look like. It's what we are, how we shine bright on the inside. That is the image, the way we're able to create like God created. We're able to think, we're able to pray. We're able to do all these things because we're created in God's image. All right? Flower, God created flowers. They're not created in his image though. They can't pray, they can't sing, they can't talk, they can't think. They can't shine, well, they look like they're shining bright, right? But they don't last very long. So we have to remember that we're created in God's image, and that makes us beautiful. And if you don't want to be called beautiful as a boy, that makes you handsome. That makes you attractive, and shining bright is attractive to people, and that makes us able to tell people about God, to have people wonder, why are you so happy and everything? Because we're created, and our eyes are created so we can see all the beautiful things that God has created, right? And not only that, just like our ears, we get used to hearing sounds and we don't hear them anymore. Same with our eyes. We get used to seeing this. We get used to seeing that. I know what mom looks like. I know my brother looks like. I know my friend looks like. But we start not really using our eyes like we should. When we use our eyes, God wants us to use our heart with it. When you use your heart with it, you don't say, oh, I wish I had green eyes like her. You say, thank you for my eyes, period. Our eyes so we can see. It doesn't matter what color they are. And I got used to my brown eyes, and now I like my brown eyes. Would I like blue eyes? Maybe. But God gave me brown eyes for a reason. So, and maybe it was for me to stop comparing myself to everybody else. It's not important what color your eyes are. So I was out in the yard, and I pulled this out of my garden. Ugly, right? It's not a weed. In April, and even in some part of March, it was almost for 2 months, this bloomed with little purple flowers all over it when there was no other color in the yard. So now there's other color in the yard, so this doesn't look so good anymore. But there's a secret underneath these. All right, so I want to show you that secret. So here it is. Here's the plant. I cut off a little stem. Let's see if I can get it. So if you just go back and forth and wiggle, oh, there it came loose. This is the back part. Seeds. That's the seeds that fall on the ground and then it comes back. Let me see if I get the front off. Come on. Come on. They have to be nice and dry. Oh, it broke a little bit, but you'll see. There's the seeds. Look at this. If I didn't make that hole. Let me do a couple more while I'm talking. So what we see is ugly. God sees as beautiful. What we see is beautiful. It is beautiful. But that doesn't mean other things are ugly. We have to see the beauty in everything. And you know how we do that? By seeing with our hearts. All right, here's another one. I wish we were together because I could teach you how to do this and you could bring some of the seeds home with you. I'm gonna put the seeds in my I Believe bag and then I'll hand some out to you and maybe they'll even be some of these guys next time we see each other. Oh, come on. I don't want to rip them, but look at how it's getting. So I have some done. Look at, from this, that looks dead and ugly, to this. And guess what it looks like to me? It looks like the plant is shining bright, doesn't it? It looks like it's all glowing. It's amazing. The plant is called the honesty plant, all right? And look at this root. It's edible. Want me to take a bite? No, I'm not going to take a bite. Edible means you can eat it. So imagine you coming home and say, Mom, what's for dinner? She said, oh, honesty root. And you go, what? Not that again. Ugh, I don't like honesty root. But you can eat that, cook it up and probably make a tea and stuff. But this plant is so useful. God created it with a use. And the use is, even though it looks like this and we think it looks ugly, it has tons of uses. So let's see. I wanted to do some shining bright things. So let's see. We already looked at these beautiful black-eyed Susans, right? And how it looks after. So it's seeds. It's going to fall. This part's going to fall in the ground and make more for next year. More black-eyed Susans. But it gets to be beautiful like this, just like us. It shines bright and then it has its moment to reseed. But imagine if we just made an arrangement just of those flowers. That's nice. That's like if we all looked the same. That's what our world would look like. Imagine walking around and just seeing the most beautiful person all the time. When you looked in the mirror, you saw the most beautiful person. We all looked alike, imagine, and the boy would be the most handsomest man, the handsomest man in the world. But we'd all look like that. After a while, we would get really tired of it. So God thought the same thing. I don't want everybody looking alike. I don't want everybody being alike. So then we added these. Oh, doesn't that make it more interesting? And then, oh, I got this flower I could put in. More interesting. And how about I put in these dried honesty flowers, plants there. But you know what I'm going to do too? Just because we're talking about ugly and beautiful and what we think of it is, because that's our thoughts, it's not God's thoughts, I'm going to put in a little of that. I'm not sure how that looks to you guys. Oops, wait, this guy got squished in. But do you see how it's much more interesting? Look at that, even with the, what we call ugly. Look at, you can see all the different ways people are. When flowers are different, they act differently. You saw how that is. This one acts, and in fact, it takes 2 years for this plant to grow. From one seed, okay, one seed is in the ground, so the first year, you get just some little leaves. The next year, big leaves, and it blooms, and then it drops these seed pods. All right, so I've had them in my yard for probably 30 years now. So that means it never is a year without flowers because it finally caught up to itself that every year there's blooms. But I save the seeds every year and I make sure they get sprinkled around. And naturally, God always has seeds spreading himself too. So look at this. We're all different. These are all different. We're all beautiful. These are all beautiful. We're God's creation. I want you to remember, what we see as beautiful could be very deceptive, right? Like this flower, beautiful. It's always going to be beautiful. No. This flower, ugly. It's always going to be ugly. No. Right? So looking with our hearts, we don't see ugly. We don't see beautiful. We see God's creation. And that's what I want you to see. When you look at people, look more at people. Now that we wear masks, right, and we're in the store, I always loved smiling at people and having them smile back. Well, now they don't even look my way. I try to look at them and try to get them to look. Sometimes, I'll say morning or hello, but before I just used to turn my head and they would turn their head and our eyes would meet and we'd smile at each other. I don't do that anymore. At first I was like kind of upset about it, thinking, what's their problem? But then I realized I looked with my heart the next time. And you know what it was? They're afraid. So I realized that, geez, why won't they smile back at me? Is kind of ugly on my part. That's not shining bright. But when I looked at it with my heart, I said, oh, I wish they weren't afraid. And then I could even send that to God. God, please help people not to be so afraid, right? Almost everything. The talking about us all being different. Even though we're different, God, please help us to get along and see how important it is for us to be different. All right, and that's, I think, what we have to remember most of all. We can't look at someone and say, oh, they're so lucky. Look what they have. I want that. I don't like them because of that. Or you'll say, what a funny looking dress she's wearing today. Oh my gosh. And then make fun. We have to look with our hearts because maybe she doesn't have a lot of beautiful clothes. Maybe they don't have a lot of money to buy beautiful clothes. Maybe she's just different. And to her, what she's wearing makes her happy and is beautiful. We have to let people. We have to look at them with our hearts to see they're a little different than us. Maybe not a lot different, maybe just a little different. And not make fun of it, right? We got to look at ourselves with our heart and know that we're created by God. So I shouldn't be mad about how my hair looks, my color of my eyes, my clothes, all that stuff. God doesn't want us worrying it and thinking about that stuff. He wants us thinking about our hearts and shining bright. That's the image he created us in, to see his creation, to listen to the things he's created, and let that fill our hearts with so much love to overflowing, that it's so easy to be nice to other people. It's so easy to give to people. It's so easy to see how beautiful other people are because we're looking at their hearts. Not the color of their eyes, not what they have, not what they're wearing. We have to really work hard at shining bright. But that's what I love about doing these talks with you. Keeps in the front of my mind that God created me in his image, the inside of me. So I want to make sure that's what shows on the outside. I want to shine bright. I want to give to God everything that's bothering me. I don't want to worry or be anxious. These are all things that God designed us to live like. And we lose track of it. So it's been helping me a lot to be thinking more about that. So we may be different, but we're all beautiful. And look for that beauty in everybody. So I have a game for us to practice seeing, like those games for listening. Okay, so this is what I want you to do. You know how you can make that heart shape with your hands? All right. I want you to look, say your brother's sitting next to you. I want you to look real closely in his eyes with your heart, right? And because eyes are so cool, you can see a lot of different things if you look really close to an eye. And if you put a light on, you could see that black center get smaller. When it's a little darker, you could see it get bigger. That's what lets light in, and that gets what you're seeing to your brain. And then your brain puts it in its heart, right? You got to put it in your heart, and then you can really understand what you're doing. So here, if you go out in the yard, like do it, make your heart shape, and do it looking at a flower, and just focus on that flower. It's so hard to focus on any one thing because so much is happening all around us. But even like when your mom's talking to you, it's really fun because all of a sudden, all you see is your mom's face. And you feel it in your heart. When you see just the flower, you can feel it in your heart. Like, God, thank you for creating that for me. If you see, okay, we keep talking about the things in our lives that are obviously beautiful. But let's take something that we don't think is so pretty and let's look at that. And then focus on that. And I can see all the seeds inside there. And those seeds mean beauty is coming. Beauty is coming. If it wasn't for this stage, this part, there wouldn't be beauty. If God didn't create it to go like this, there wouldn't be beauty because there'd be no seeds to fall on the ground into the dirt. And even dirt, look at dirt and really look at it. You could see all sorts of things in there, things you never knew were there. Remember, we have our magnifying glass for seeing things. We have binoculars. Even looking through binoculars could be like looking with your heart because it sees such a small amount of the world. And oh, I got this big heavy thing, microscope. I used to, as a kid, put a slide in there of pond scum and look at it. Pond scum just looks bleh. It's full of life. Life that God has created that's so small we can't see it with our eyes. We have to use other things to see. So please. Oh, so the song, guess what? Because we're talking a lot with our ears and our eyes, we need to use our heart. And when we use our heart, it fills with joy and love. I've got the joy, 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 joy down in my heart. Where? Down in my heart. Where? Down in my heart. I've got the joy, 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 joy down in my heart. Down in my heart to stay. And I'm so happy, so very happy. I have the love of Jesus in my heart. And I'm so happy, so very happy. I have the love of Jesus in my heart. And I just can't wait till you can understand almost everything that I'm saying and it's making sense. But really just remember what you hear and what you see and what you say has to come from your heart to shine bright and to make your heart happy. I love you. Mwah. Bye.